The NBA playoffs have been absolutely wild so far, and especially Anthony Edwards, because he really went from being in All NBA second team talks to future of the league, best young player. And I recently saw a poll online 10,000 people voted who the best player out of these four are. You had Wemby, you had Ant, you had Shea, and you had Jason Tatum. Now, the results of this poll were not something that I expected because 48% voted for Anthony Edwards, while only 20% voted for Jason Tatum. Guys, I think it's time to start spreading the narrative that Anthony Edwards might be getting a bit overrated, and recency bias has really been affecting us. But before going deeper into this, I just want to say how great of a player Anthony Edwards is. He's been the best player in the league these playoffs. He's averaging nearly 47 and 7 per game, which are just crazy numbers that we have never seen before. But is he better than Jason Tatum? Is he better than Shea? Well, I would say that he is better than Shea, but he's not better than Jason Tatum. Because although Jason Tatum does have that perfect super team around him, he's still a superstar player. He was in MVP talks the entire regular season, and even though, yes, Ant is stepping up big time right now, it's not only Ant, it's also his teammates. I don't want to discredit him at all, but discrediting Jason Tatum is just absolutely nasty, nasty work. I mean, the Timberwolves are currently playing some of the best defense that we have ever seen in this playoff series against the Nuggets. They have a 90.6 defensive rating, which is top 5 in NBA history. They had 12 steals and 11 blocks against the Nuggets in Game 2 and held them to 35% from the field. Just imagine you're a guard. Imagine you're Jamal Murray and you're getting picked up 94 feet out by Jaden McDaniels. And then when he gets a bit tired, you're going to expect to run down the court and just be able to start your offense, right? Nope. Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Anthony Edwards are going to jump you, cover every pass lane, and then when you drive, there's Cat and Rudy Gobert. What I'm saying is that this team is perfect. We might have never seen a better constructed team than this. You could argue 2017 Warriors. You can argue, yeah, I guess the Nuggets. Celtics, obviously unproven, but they are a great team. But honestly, I am not really sure what can counter this team. In fact, the only thing that I can even think of is a tall and strong ball handler who might be able to deal with this pressure. Luka Doncic. And that brings me to the next point in this video. Because there was another poll taken, credit to Answer the Poll on Twitter. I mean, pretty self-explanatory name. And he posts NBA stuff. And one of the polls were Luka Doncic or Anthony Edwards. Now, this one did make a bit more sense to me. You had 65-35. Around there. It was 66-34, but basically the same thing, right? That means a third of people still think that Anthony Edwards is better than Luka Doncic. Oh man. Once again, not to discredit him or anything, he's a generational talent. He's a great player. He has a ton of aura. He's got hype around him. He's got that competitive drive, competitive mentality. He's just a great player all around. He has a beautiful play style. He's not better than Luka. He is not better than Luka Doncic, who arguably has the case for the best player in the entire league. Like, I don't really know what else to say. Anyways, if y'all are still around, you probably like hearing me yap, so I'm just gonna talk about the rest of the playoffs right now and the finals, because the NBA finals are happening in, believe it or not, 3 weeks. A bit less than 3 weeks. And currently, we have 4 series playing out right now. You have the Timberwolves versus Nuggets. I think we all know who the clear winner of that is going to be, unless this video might age very, very badly with all things considered. Me calling Anthony Edwards not the best player in the NBA and all that. But I'm pretty sure the Timberwolves will be able to take care of the Nuggets in 5 or 6. Then you've got Celtics versus Cavs. Obviously, super easy series for the Celtics. You've got Knicks versus Pacers, where the Knicks, I think that they can take it home pretty easily on this one. But, of course, you can't discount Tyrese Halliburton. it doesn't really matter. Celtics are going to win the Eastern Conference anyways, which means that the Western Conference Finals is going to be either OKC or Dallas versus the Timberwolves. Now, OKC did take a big Game 1 lead. I'm recording this right after the game ended, and they won by nearly 20 points, which is kind of nuts considering that it is the NBA playoffs. And Luka Doncic, absolute stinker tonight. He had under 20 points on some of the worst shooting I've ever seen, and if it was if it was Steph Curry putting up these numbers, he's being torched in the media. But Luka, it's all right if you do it right. Let me just pull up my notes real quick. Yeah, so once you have that series, you have Thunder or the Mavs. I would put my money on the Thunder, and Thunder versus T-Wolves. Oh man, guys, you already know who I'm taking. I am taking the T-Wolves. They might as well sweep that series. Obviously I think they won't actually sweep, but they will destroy the Thunder, which means that our NBA Finals matchup is basically set. Timberwolves versus Celtics. And there's no real way that this will change at all. Like, who is going to beat this Timberwolves team in the West? Who's going to beat this Celtics team in the East? And when these two teams face off in the finals, it's going to be a battle for the ages. And if Anthony Edwards really does win this series, I'll delete this video. I'll unlist every video on my channel. I will admit that I was wrong. And honestly, if that happens, Anthony Edwards, he might just make All-NBA first team over Jason Tatum. Even though it's not technically impacted by the playoffs, we all know it actually is. I mean, look, Jason Tatum has been so good his entire career. And now we're just placing players like Anthony Edwards above him. I'm a Warriors fan. I'm completely impartial about this. And if anything, I like Anthony Edwards better. I just see a player in him, and that player is so good. He literally has unlimited potential, and he's already living up to it. But I also can't discredit the rest of the Minnesota roster. And because of that, I'm taking the Celtics and Jason Tatum in that final series. I mean, look at it this way. If you take away Jason Tatum from the Celtics, will they be as good as a team? No, obviously not. They'll be way worse. Their first option will be Jaylen Brown, which, I mean, I guess that's fine. Not on a championship team, though. However, if you take away Anthony Edwards, they still have a really solid team. And if you swap places, that is putting Anthony Edwards on the Celtics and putting Jason Tatum on the Timberwolves, I think we all know how that's going to end up. The Timberwolves become the best team the NBA has ever seen. And honestly, that's just my cup of tea. This was a bit of a yap fest. I'm sorry for not uploading for a few days. I've just been really burnt out. And yeah, that's about it. Like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.